decided to do something cool today. I'm gonna style this little ficus that I've had for a while and just do a video of it and show you guys, kind of talk through the process of designing this and kind of what's going on in my head. I've had this tree since like 2000, oh my gosh, like since 2006. I secretly ripped it out of a hedge in Palm Beach, on the island of Palm Beach. So, but I just knew that it was struggling to survive, and it was just on the side of the hedge, and it is actually a much bigger tree, even after I had styled it initially for years. And then I just recently decided to make this huge cut. I'll show you the pictures of it, what it was beforehand. But this was the original front, but it was actually a whole tree. Like this was a whole big branch that came out. There was a whole another section, and this was actually just a side branch coming off of it. But I was never really happy with the design, and also some of the roots had died back. So I kind of was forced to redesign everything. So this is the new front, which I think is really cool. It's really cute. A lot smaller tree, but really has a lot of character, and these aerial roots are kind of going this way. So yeah, I will get started. I got my stuff here. I got my coffee. Let me just readjust this. It won't be in the frame for most of it. It'll just be the tree, what you came for. Here, I'll give you a 360, right? So I had wired this up from a side branch. There's where the big cut was, where I had sealed it. Here's the front, the new front, with that side branch being bent up to become the new apex, right? I'm hoping to kind of build stuff in here, have a little bit here, and then maybe bring this back branch that you see back here, bring this kind of to fill in this negative space, probably like up there, yeah? So you have like foliage pad here, kind of coming up and up here. I know you see it, you have vision. Let me get my stuff. Where is my shears? I just defoliated it in preparation for styling, so I'll show you a clip of that as well. So first I'm going to start cutting off everything I know that I'm not going to use for sure. So anything that's growing kind of from areas that aren't that great. Let me see, hold on. All right, I'm back. Sorry, I'm just figuring out the best way for you guys to see this. Let me just bring this closer. So I'm gonna start by removing stuff I know I'm not gonna need, right? So I'm gonna start with this front guy, because once this thickens, it'll obscure the view of this main trunk. So I'm gonna get rid of that. This little guy growing out here, I'm gonna get rid of it. I was thinking to leave it, maybe to help heal some of this giant scar, as you can see right there. But I don't really need it right now, so get rid of it. This guy growing inside, I don't know if you can see that as well either. This right here is growing on the inside of a curve, and it's just hidden, it's just completely wrong, so I'm gonna get rid of that. So generally anything that's growing downward or straight upward, you wanna get rid of when you start cleaning a bonsai to design it. So this branch here, I don't know if you can see that, is growing pretty much from right below, so that has to go. Right? I mean, you kind of evaluate as you go along of like, oh, I know it might be growing from, like, let's say this guy, for instance, say, oh, I know it's growing from right here, straight up. right? But you think, oh, well, I don't have another branch going horizontally from that spot. So maybe I use that upright branch and bend it down and make it a horizontal branch. But generally when you're cleaning, you want to clean anything that's growing straight up or straight down that you know you can't use. Like this guy, for instance. I don't know if you can see. This is tough. Here. This guy. I know it's growing from below this branch right here, but I don't really have another branch growing out of the side of this guy, right? So I don't know if you can see that better that way. So I can sheet this up just a little bit so that it becomes more of a horizontal branch. So I'm cutting ups and downs, but with that being said, I'm using what I need to from those ups and downs to make adjustments accordingly. All right, let's see. Let's get started. So I think I'm gonna start with moving this back branch. This is the back of the tree. I wanna curve this up and forward, right? So if this is the front, this back branch, what you see it back here, is gonna come up and hopefully live in this area somehow. Let's get started. So with wiring, I'm trying to see what other branch I can pair up with this branch so that I can utilize my wire as best as possible. Let me see, maybe if I take this off. All right, a view from above, right? This is that back branch right there. I'm gonna pair it with this branch, right? So I'm gonna use the wire for this branch and it's gonna come all the way out to here, wrap it around this trunk once or twice, and then come out and go onto this branch. And that way I'm utilizing the wire as much as possible. Yeah, so let's get started. This is tough. I don't know how people show bonsai tutorials. It's hard to see everything. It's hard to see such a three-dimensional sculpture in such, on video as a two-dimensional. Cool. The baby's sleeping upstairs, so I'm sorry if I have to leave or I whisper weird and I'm trying to just see the wind of like how I'm going to anchor this wire to the trunk, extend it out to the branches, and also make sense with the wire that's already in place. So, all right. Cut enough. I'm trying to stretch this wire as much as possible because this is the last I have of this gauge. Like, that's it. I'm cutting this. This is it. And then I have a whole ton of this stuff. But it's a lot thinner, and I'm going to use it for the smaller branches for sure. But for the bigger branches that I knew I was going to bend right off the get-go, I'm just having to kind of conserve and use it wisely and sparingly. Wiring's fun because it's like a puzzle. You have to figure out like what's the best way to, the best path, and like to utilize the wire the way you want it. And let me see. Don't talk to me right now. I'm busy. I'm concentrating. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna get rid of this little guy. It's in the way for the wire to pass there. It's just kind of a weak interior, but I'm a little worried that I'm not gonna have, see how this wire's already getting too short for this branch. I'm a little worried that I'm gonna run out. So I'm just, before I get wiring too much, I'm going to extend that. It's kind of like finding out where the middle of the wire is, or like where to anchor it and still have the distance on both sides of the extended length that you need for that branch. So this branch is a little shorter. It's not going to need as much. So I'm going to anchor there. I know you guys can't see shit, but that's okay. I like need a camera I can hold in my mouth so I can just bite it and hold it for you guys. All right. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Bringing this wire out. And like I said, I've learned my lesson where I try to, it's good to extend your wire as far as possible. You might think, oh, well, I don't need to go any further. I'm gonna get the bend that I want. But later down the road, you're always like, oh crap, I wish I would have extended the wire more, because that way I could have used that wire as an anchor for the next branch that I'm about to wire. So just use it, because it sucks to have to go back, cut everything off, cut off all that wire and restart again, right? I'm holding the wire with an anchor hand. So this finger is just pinching the wire and holding it so it's not moving as I'm wrapping, and making sure that the spacing is nice. And then the other branch, and that anchor hand is working its way up as I work my way up the branch as well. So it kind of goes along with it. See, like, I wish I had a little more wire to get to the end of that, but that's okay. And then I've started learning to use pliers to control the tips of the wire and just kind of generally finish off the job and do it cleanly when your fingers can't do it, when your stubby fingers can't. So those two are now wired. I'm going to show you that. All right. So let's orientate ourselves, right? This is the apex right here. Apex. This wire is going to this back branch. I don't know if you can see that. This is that branch. It wraps around this trunk once, comes around this side of it, and then continues up this branch, which is now at the front of the tree. Okie dokie. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Production value is really good, I know. Cool. So let's see if we can start moving this branch. As you move a branch, a lot of times, oh crap, battery running out. That's okay. So a lot of times, instead of moving a branch, let's say this is a branch and you want to move it here, right? You want to move it down. Just bending a branch like this is a little risky and you might break it. A technique that I've learned is if you twist the branch as you go, you get a lot more movement out of it. And the branch tends not to break as much, and the wire has more holding power, because as you twist with the wrap of the wire, the wire starts to squeeze the branch more and sets it in place better. So again, if you're gonna bend a branch, it's best not to bend in right angles. It's best to twist and kind of wrap around to your desired position. So like this branch here, this is the back branch. I'm not just gonna crank it forward. I'm gonna go with the wire. Watch it snap. I'm gonna go with the wire. Go slow, go slow, go slow. It sucks when it snaps. But luckily ficus is pretty flexible and indestructible, I would say. And again, I'm located in Miami, so I can get away with so much more with ficus trees here, just because I can defoliate, I can do a whole bunch of stuff that people who live up north can only do in the summer months, right? And I can get away with it into the fall. Yeah. So how's that looking? So here's the front. This wire, I can use one more wrap around, so I'm gonna take my pliers and very gingerly, just because I'm already at the end of this branch and this wire is way too thick for this area, but if I use the pliers nice and easy, I can manipulate it without damaging the branch too much. Let's see. Ooh, baby. How does that look? Yeah, and then this guy I'll bring down here. Let's get some more dimension. Let's go up with this one. So that's like the top layer of it, and we'll split this guy further down. You see that? So it'll look, so out of one branch line, I'll get two. But I'll do that with a thinner wire later. Cool, so let's place this guy. So I have a dilemma here. Hold on one second. I'm gonna stop the video and get a charger. Be right back. All right, we're back. So where was I? Oh, so this branch here, so this is the one that I just wired, right? This is the other lateral branch. Let me see if we can see that. this guy is a little too heavy for the design, especially with such a small tree. So I'm kind of thinking of removing this guy, removing this, right? Getting rid of all this. And then placing this branch right in its place. See how this can just come over and take that spot? And it kind of declutters the design and doesn't have such competing pieces, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this big guy. Do that. I'm gonna remove this right here and then keep this wired one. Oh yeah. Removing this, keeping this. Right, remove, keep. Here we go. I'm gonna leave a little stump first. So I'm just gonna cut it here. Ooh, scary. All right, and now I can move this branch, this guy, into that position where that other one was. Clean up the stub for a second. I'm just cleaning. There's kind of a nub that I want to clean out before I continue. Actually, I'm gonna cut this. So the original wire, this copper wire, is kind of in my way, and I don't need it to be wrapped around that much. So I'm gonna just cut a little bit of it off so I can get to that area more cleanly. Come on. Yeah, so this is my oldest tree. This is the tree I've had with me the longest. This tree, this poor thing's been shipped through the mail so many times as I moved to different cities. It's lived in Nashville. It lived in a small apartment in New York a few times. I think it lived in LA for a little bit. Yeah, it's a trooper. It's been through a lot. And so when I actually made these adjustments on it, I was a little scared and worried that I was gonna not be happy with the design. I just thought I was gonna ruin this tree. But since I made that big cut, this big cut, at the beginning of this summer, I've actually been really happy and kind of re-inspired by this tree, so it's good. It's way more interesting now than it was. Okay, so this branch is gonna be this area, this newer area. So I'm gonna brace it as I twist it. Give it some movement. So I'm gonna go, when styling these guys, I'm gonna go try to initiate up first with the branch and then down, because that's kind of how the growth habit of these trees are here. So, and I never do enough movement on the first move. That's just something I do. So I'm looking at the camera now. This can definitely go up and have more movement to it, right? So let me see. Gentle, gentle. This poor guy, this old guy, has been through a lot. All right. Again, I'm gonna use the pliers just because this is thicker wire, so I can bend the tip back so it doesn't lose the grip of where it was, right? And I'm gonna bring this a little bit forward towards you guys. I don't know if you can see now. So this is looking directly side, and I don't like how far back it is. I kind of want it to look like it's hugging the viewer, right? So I'm gonna bring this, just keeping all the cool bends I put in it, and then also bringing that branch a little forward. Right, so now looking from the side. Here's this, this is the front. This is the side. This is this branch. See how it's coming kind of towards me. You probably do a little bit more. Cool. I think that's a good a good style for those first major pieces. This apex, actually, I like where it is, but I don't know if I can add more interest in this kind of moon shape. Let me see. Again, something else I've learned is a lot of times with really thick wire, if you can just, with pliers, if you can just bite kind of the ring of where it is and then twist it, it gives you way more control as you twist than I normally would be able to just cranking it with my hand. So that's just something I've figured out. Again, I'm doing it here, I'm biting the wire and then holding everything still and just turning, hold on, gotta keep everything still. Turn it. Did that do anything? Actually, I don't like that. I think I just made it straighter than it was before. Actually, this is a good time to talk about what branch do I want to be the apex, right? I think ideally this middle guy would be the apex, and then this branch would come down and kind of finish and mimic this guy. So this branch coming here is going to come down. Hui. Hui, hui, hui. Let's see. Watching. So branches tend to be way more sensitive right in the crotches. So if I were to crank this over even more, it probably is going to rip right here. So I'm trying to really careful to just watch that. And if I'm going to put more of a bend, I'm going to put more of a bend in the branch here and not crank it just from that joint because it might tear there. So I'm watching it already separate a little bit. So I'm going to take the pliers and just finish this wrap of this initial wiring, this copper wire that was already there. It's not copper, sorry, it's aluminum painted brown. But still, I just want to be able to get over to the top of this branch so that I can set it. So I have one more point of control if I'm over the top of it. So if this is going to be a side branch, let's see. Remember, I'm watching that crotch, making sure it doesn't rip. I don't know, dude. Might be a little too long of a branch. We'll see. I don't like it closing in this gap here. So maybe that's the apex. You know, and this little guy does what I wanted this whole branch to do. This little one, come in and be that little relationship moment, right? And I'll lay all those flat too. Cool, let's do that. So this is the apex. Let me move it back for you guys. This is the apex now. Yeah, ta-da, there he is. And these will all go down. Let me just wire those. So now, I'm just gonna rapid wire these. I'll do a time lapse. Peace. Cool. That wasn't that much wiring. I did like 4 branches and it kind of, those were them. I have last 2 more to wire. I have this little guy here in the back branch that we made the side branch, and then this little one that I said was growing from below that we're gonna utilize more as a horizontal branch, as a side branch. So I might be breaking some bonsai rules, but I just don't have the gauge that I need right now. So what I'm doing is, this wire is a little too thin for these branches. These are kind of thick, just kind of more thick ficus. They're almost like a succulent. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get some extra wire and double up on it. So I'm just gonna double up on it. I don't know if this is against the rules or whatever, but I'm just making it work with what I got. Okay, so I'm just gonna wire them, doing them like that, and that will be extra. That'll have more strength and kind of act as a thicker wire. So it's this guy. that I'm wiring, and this guy. Just looking at, I think the trickiest part about wiring is deciding where to enter, kind of where to anchor and like where to go from there. All right, so I see that. I'm gonna bring this around here. Let me make sure that I have enough. That's another, remember, make sure that you have enough slack so that your wire can go all the way to the end. One thing that, well, I don't guess I have to do that now, but one thing I do like about the technique that I'm using, which I made up or stole from somewhere, or don't know if it's good or bad, but when you're doubling wires, let's say you're going along a branch and you're doubling, and then that branch splits, you can take those wires and let's say those branches are thinner, so you can take that thinner gauge of wire and follow down that branch and that other branch to go that way. So your wire can actually be wrapping and then split and then keep wrapping branches. So, sorry, bonsai police. And sometimes, I mean, not always, but every once in a while, I also have to cross wires. I try really hard not to, but it's something that has to happen. It happened here, that's why I'm saying it. I mean, ideally you wouldn't, but especially with this is a rough styling of this tree, like an initial styling. It's fine, it holds its spot. I'm gonna be checking on it all the time, making sure nothing's damaging or biting. So it's all good. Okay, it's done. That. I'll look at it from the front and say, where do I want these? So this branch, we said we wanted up, down, and out. And I think, I'm trying to decide whether I want this one to kind of fill up above it or below it. I think above it feels a little more organic. Corny joke, sorry. So let's see, if it doesn't work above, we can always just fix it and go below, right? Let me cut this wire so it's not tricking your eyes. Yeah, I think so. It's lower, it's already so much lower than this branch that I don't think it's gonna help. Just a little bit above. I don't think I'm gonna go as extreme as it just was, but just a little above, just to give a little more layers and dimension. I remember I learned a trick or a method. So when let's say you're looking above, don't look at this, don't look at that, don't look at that. Let's say you're looking down at a branch, right? And there's a branch and it forks. This is your fork in your branch. Your first movement, once you've wired, you want it to go into the branch. Let's say I wired this one. This is the main branch, right? Main branch, secondary branch. I'll do that. Main, secondary. You want your initial movement to go in and then out. And if you go in, out, you're setting yourself already to start creating that fan shape that we look for when we're looking down from a bird's eye view on a branch. So with this little guy that I just wired, my first movement, I went in and then I go out. And then from there, you can, take it up or down, however you want, but just that initial movement, you want it to go in and out. Same with this back little branch that was actually, remember, growing from the bottom of the branch and now is a horizontal branch, in and out. Yeah, let's see. Do I need to wire this little guy? I don't think so. I think it naturally is just in an okay spot. And if I do want to redirect it, I can just bend the wire that's back here. Right, so I think this guy's done. Let me remove this guy. This is something I should have cut off at the beginning. It's this little twig growing out from an area that I don't want it. Yeah. It's cute, it's cute. Actually, let me see. What's this thing doing? Kind of wish this was down a little bit, right? Or, no, you know what? That's the thing, guys. A lot of times you make every bonsai look like a pine tree. And ficus have, there's the front of it. They have multiple apexes. So a ficus naturally is gonna have a rounder top. And so if I want, it's like my instinct to put it down, and then But once I do that, you get even more of that pyramid shape that is so definitely pine. And so I want to keep it a little bit more round. So I'll let this fill out, and having this guy up a little bit kind of lends itself to filling out that area just a little bit. Like, it's okay. It's okay. You're okay. Put it down. It's so weird because in real life this looks not that offensive, but I'm looking at it on the camera screen and I'm like, oh, that looks bad. I think it's just too long. Just cut it back a little bit. Whew, there it is. So again, here's my front's like here. Put a little stick in the front. Yeah. All right, cool. Cool, that's it. Thank you for coming and watching me do this and hanging out with me. It actually turns out better than I thought it would. It looks really good. This tree was kind of just left alone at my mom's house and kind of just like kind of an abandoned project. I kind of just gave up on it, but just kept on to it for sentimental reasons. So I'm really glad that I kind of got to work on it today. I'll give you a quick 360. This is the front. And then we rotating. Keep going, that's the back. Keep going. And then, again, boom, that's the front. So now I will keep it in my patio, which actually sucks because it doesn't get that much shade. But I'll keep it in my patio till it starts to leaf out again. And then once it starts to leaf out, I'll decide whether or not to put it in my front, which has like a lot of sun. I might not, I might just keep it in the back. That's my main growing area. So I think it should be fine. I'll just keep it out of the sun after you've defoliated till it starts to grow leaves again. And it should be good. And then it will get a new pot next summer. So that's it. Bye. Oh.